So Sokolovic, Bridgeport Board of Education, Vice Chair.
Hi, good afternoon, members of the committee. Dr. Gaston, pleasure to see you and be testifying before you. My name is Joe Sokolovic. I'm the Vice Chair of the Bridgeport Board of Education. I'm speaking today in my personal capacity for the most part. Let's be clear what this bill does and who it harms. President of armed law enforcement in our schools, including retired federal officers, history shows us exactly where this road leads. When police are in schools, Black and brown students are disciplined, searched, and arrested at significantly higher rates for the same behavior as their white peers. Students with disabilities are criminalized instead of supported. This is not a theory, it is well established, documented fact. The school to prison pipeline has devastated communities of color for decades. This bill makes that problem worse by explicitly welcoming retired federal law enforcement officers into the school buildings. It includes agencies whose work centers on surveillance, enforcement, and detention, not child development, not education, and not trauma-informed care. Context matters. Since early 2025, schools are no longer protected as so-called sensitive locations from immigration enforcement. Families know that safeguard is gone. So when armed federal officers are placed inside school, retired or otherwise, immigrant communities hear a clear message: you are being watched. The harm is immediate and real. Parents stop bringing their children to school out of fear. Students withdraw or disengage. Mixed status families, many with US born children, make impossible choices between education and safety. Principals across the country have said it plainly: the fear is everywhere. And let's talk about information. Schools hold addresses, emergency contacts, family
Excuse
names.
me, Mr. Sokolovic, just trying to understand which bill you're looking at for the academic purposes for our committee. Could you please state the bill?
It's a hold on. I apologize. I got the bill in front of me. 402.
Okay, 402. Oh, thank you. You may proceed.
All right, where was I? Context matters. And listen, immigrants hear a clear message: you are being watched. The harm is immediate and real. Parents stop bringing their children to school out of fear. Students withdraw and disengage. Mixed status families, many with US born children, make impossible choices between education and safety. Principals across the country have said it plainly: the fear is everywhere. Let's talk about information. Schools hold addresses, emergency contacts, family names, and places of birth. When federal law enforcement is normalized inside school buildings, families do not debate privacy statutes or policies. They assume risk because the cost of being wrong is detention, separation, or deportation. That fear alone is enough to push children out of the classrooms. Public schools are supposed to be places of trust and belonging. This bill replaces that trust with fear. It deepens racial disparities. It chills access to education for immigrant families, and it turns schools into extensions of the enforcement state. If you support this bill, understand your choice you are making. You are choosing policing over children, fear over trust, and inequity over justice. Connecticut should be better than that and could do better to improve these things by promoting wraparound services that educate the whole child. This is the part that the whole board would support, and we voted on this yesterday. This could be achieved by raising the ECS foundation amount to 16,500 and passing revenue bills SBO 101, 104, HB 5133, and 5117, and dedicating the funds towards education. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Representative Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sokolovic, did I say your name right?
Close enough. Yeah, it's Sokolovic.
What is your understanding that SB 402 does?
He's saying it's a technical revision. However, now that it's on the floor and up for a technical revision, it's also up for possible amendments. Having the law enforcement officers in there and having police in schools, police should not be in other schools. I'm listening to the last testifier, Mr. Goodrich or Dr. Goodrich. Very good to keep them outside the schools to respond, but police in schools lead to larger arrests.
Can you point to the section of the bill where it talks about a police officer in a school?
The retired police officers?
Oh, retired police officers, right?
Correct.
So those are no longer police officers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But they still carry that with them. Their training from their entire career, be it 20 years, 30 years, much of the training, which did not include some of the de-escalation techniques that work with teenagers and the responsiveness, and you mentioned earlier, take action with that. And when they're coming in with the tools to de-escalate, they only have one tool left after de-escalation doesn't work, and that would be their firearm. Are they carrying tasers? Are they carrying other things that could stop a problem before? No, they're just carrying their gun. So when you carry a gun and a tool within that school, it's like a hammer, and every problem becomes a nail.
What background do you have in law enforcement, sir?
I have absolutely no background in law enforcement.
All right, so I would respectfully disagree with you that they have no other tools. There's several tools that we use that are not tasers and things like that. But so am I understanding your testimony is that what you want is you're not necessarily opposed in and of itself to the addition of this language. What you're opposed to is the general armed security officer premise, and also asking that since we're amending the statute that we add the training requirement. Is that a fair understanding of your